Let me know if you can hear me. So we're gonna do a Monday, Mobility Monday for everybody. My name is Jo, and I am I like to call myself a holistic movement coach, but really, I just want you to find something that you can fit into your life every day, that you're gonna love to do, that's gonna help you with your fitness, and most importantly, help your body feel and move great. So we'll kind of do a little bit of a full body checkup here. Sometimes I call it oil change. We'll kind of just go through the major areas I see for my clients that they need help with. If you're here, hello. Let me know if you can hear me and the sound is okay, because my Wi-Fi tends to be a little interesting out here. But yeah, I'll just go through my checkpoints. We'll do some stuff for our thoracic region, our shoulders. We'll do some stuff for our hips, our glutes. What else? Our neck, our spine. I'll just kind of go through. If you are doing this live with me, go ahead and pull out your mat, and then we possibly will be using a little chair or a stool, even like a, what's that called? A countertop will work really well as well. So yeah, and all of these movements are going to be beginner friendly. But if that being said, if you feel something is a no when you first start doing it, you know more than me about your body. So listen to yourself, right? If that movement didn't agree with you, if you don't feel great doing it, let me know in the comments, and it's probably something that I can help you out and change out an exercise with. So yeah, let me know. Before we begin today, if you have any suggestions and you're here early, go ahead and pop them in the comments. I'm gonna write down some things. So we're gonna start with our feet and our ankles today. And then we're going to do some standing hip work with the chair. And we're gonna do some nice seated stretches for the shoulders and also the triceps. And we'll also throw in some neck mobility as well. And then we'll call it a day. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're joining me live, thank you. Be sure to comment any questions you have during. I can see this pretty well from where I'm at. I'm moving a little bit slow today. Definitely a little bit sore from my first workout back yesterday, so we're just going to take things nice and easy for Monday. Maybe get a little bit of a sweat going, but also like it's totally okay if that doesn't happen for you as well. All right, let's start up on our feet. We're going to start with the spine here. This has been a big focus for me as of late because I injured this little area right here. It's kind of not my fault. I fell off this thing that I'm recording on, this deck. But anyways, it kind of highlighted that maybe this area of my body isn't as strong as I thought it was, and I need to throw in some more mobility work. So yeah, this is what I've been doing. All right, I want you to find a nice shoulder width apart stance. I want you to ground your feet into the floor. And on your next big inhale, send those arms overhead like you're reaching the sky. And then we're going to start with the neck and work all the way down the spine. So you're going to think about rounding through the neck, rounding through the upper back, rounding through the mid back. Keep rooting into all big three corners of your feet. And then finally, we're going on to lower back here. Keep that even distribution over your feet if you can. And then you can bend your knees and start to bring the hands closer to the floor. You don't have to have straight legs here. This is my first movement of today, so yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna start in the reverse direction. I want you to ground into your feet. Think about rolling up, starting with your low lumbar spine area, and then your mid back, and finally your upper back, and finally your neck. Coming back up. Okay, we're gonna do two more just like that, nice and slow. Think about rounding your neck, pushing your upper back out behind you, like pushing the back of your heart. back behind you, and then mid back. Pull that belly button in, lower back, and finally coming forward into our little forward fold here. All right, now we're gonna press into those feet. Nice and strong feet this whole time, guys, so we can keep those glutes nice and engaged. Gonna press into the legs. Round up slowly, starting with that lower back, mid back, upper back. Nice, and now we're back again. All right, last one here. All right, so think about rounding the neck, pushing that upper back behind you, tucking that belly button in, and rolling it all the way down here. No rush, nice and slow here. Bring your breath. Oh God, should have thought about having my hair down here. This always happens. All right, now I want you to press into the feet. Think about unraveling, starting at the bottom of your body and working all the way back up to standing. Awesome. Okay, so hopefully the spine is starting to feel good. Those are Jefferson curls, or you can call them whatever you like, but I've heard them called that, and eventually you can add weights to them too, which hopefully I will work up to soon. But body weight is a great place to start. So you really have to be really engaged through the legs and articulate each part of your spine at the same time. So if you aren't working on any spinal mobility at all, that would be a great one to throw in on the daily. Okay, so next thing, we're gonna move to the feet. We're gonna start getting the heart rate up just a little bit. So we're gonna come up onto the toes. So balance support. Always, if you are having a little bit trouble with the balance, doing any of the mobility we're doing, you can grab a chair, you can grab a wall, you can grab something that makes you feel more stable, right? We're gonna be nice and kind to our body. Balance is never anyone's forte first thing in the morning, let me tell you. Okay, so feet shoulder width apart. Now we're gonna come up on the toes. You can grab that chair if you need. Keep a nice straight spine as we come all the way down into a nice little squat on our toes. All right, now I want you to press into your toes, raise nice and slow, and come all the way up for standing. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to start your descent. Nice and slow here, guys. Might help you find a place of focus on the floor in front of you or out ahead if you want to work on your balance a little bit here. All right, now we're gonna press into the feet and slowly come back up. Let's go for 5. So my reps are a little bit arbitrary. You've noticed in a lot of my workouts, I don't really count them. And I think having a good idea of how many reps is beneficial. And if I were training you one-on-one, that would be something that we were discussing. But since I am not there seeing you trying out these movements, I do not know how your body is doing that day, right? Or how recovered you are. I just want you to take these nice and easy, stopping a rep at least or 2 before your form starts to break down, before you start to fail in the exercise. So I think that is a good idea. And as always, you want to repeat this video, do more sets, you can. I'm keeping things nice and light for myself today. So I am definitely not fully recovered from my training session. All right, so hopefully we finished up some of those. Those really help us build nice and strong ankles. And then I'm gonna head over to this chair here in a second, so go ahead and grab yours. So ideally you don't want something this high. This is just all I have around. You could do it much lower. So I'll kind of show you how I would do it with something a little bit higher here. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my right leg. I'm going to bring my shin to the chair. I'm not gonna press it down. I'm gonna keep the knee nice and high. I'm gonna keep it at a nice 90-degree angle here. And from there, I can kind of step the back foot back. And I'm gonna be leaning back and forth into this stretch, kind of working into that outside glute muscle, the piriformis here, keeping that side of the foot on the chair. kind of like a standing pigeon variation. For some of us, pigeon can feel like such a pretzel-y shape. It's a little bit hard to get into. So if you use a chair or a bench, you can still get all of those benefits that we love about pigeon, you know, the glute stretch, the piriformis stretch, and the hip strength. But we can do it from a much gentler position, which, you know, is really helpful because it means we can do it every day. Go ahead and do 10 on that side. Go ahead and switch sides. I would definitely recommend a wider base for your chair if you have one. Mine is quite small, so you can see me wobbling around here a little bit. That's all right. All right, and then we're gonna get this side now. Woo. Keeping a nice straight spine here. We're just moving the hips back and forth. Waking up, make sure the foot stays nice and flexed, the one on the chair. And we're gonna go for 10. Very good. Lovely. And then we can go ahead and move the chair out of the way. I say about 10. You can always hold that stretch a little bit longer as well instead of moving in and out of it. So you can basically rewrite. So this is kind of something that you could do pre-workout because we're moving a lot, we're not holding things. But if you're doing this post-workout, feel free to hold things as long as you like. All right. Okay. So we're gonna keep going today. Legs are gonna open out a little bit wider here. Toes are gonna turn out. I think you all know where this is. It's one of my favorite moves. It's goddess pose, it's horse stance if you're not into yoga. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna send our pelvis forward. So what we don't wanna see is this coming into horse stance because we're not really stretching the inner legs like we like because of the way our pelvis is. You're gonna send that pelvis forward, tuck it under so we can get the most out of this position. All right. Doesn't mean you need to spend your whole life in this position, right? But for this move specifically, it's a really good idea. Okay, so find a wide enough stance that you can ground into the outsides of the feet. That's going to make sure that the side glute area is going to turn on for us. And then we're going to come down into our goddess squat. You can add any movement that feels good here, maybe some Skandasana legs, but for a lot of us, a nice place to start out is with the hands on the knees. And you can just take some bends with the elbows, kind of stretching out the back. Bring in your breath. Very good. Awesome. On this next one, you can turn the toes so they're facing the edges of your mat here or just straight ahead. Make sure they're nice and even, still ground. Sorry guys, a connection, let me know. Fingers crossed here that you can still hear me. If not, this is just the way it is sometimes, right? Okay, hands are gonna go in our hips and we're gonna keep a nice flat spine as we hinge our hips behind us, lowering down to halfway, still pressing into those outside edges of the feet. And then exhale, you can drop the hands to the floor and you can let the head dangle for a second here. And Ellie's coming to visit. Oh, good girl. She loves this pose. She thinks this is what this pose is for, right? A little doggy to come in between. Okay, with your little doggy, no, just kidding. You begin to walk your hand over to one leg, bend into that leg, and then over towards the other, bending into the other leg. Kind of taking some nice walks. The next option would be to pick up the hands here, but we are not very warm yet, so please be gentle with your body. And ignore my crazy hair. I don't know if y'all can hear, the winds here are really nice. I'm gonna be in Denver this year for the fall, and I'm really excited to see a real fall. Nice, coming back through this way, and then I'm going to come down into a seat. You can lower one knee at a time, and we can come to a nice cross-legged seat or a seat on the knees. Okay, so we're gonna do a nice little foot stretch here before we do any upper body work. So I want you to come on top of the toes, find this nice stretch in the back of the feet, you can take some nice wrist circles to distract yourself here. Bring in the opposite hand to the wrist. This is what I always have my clients do, because the feet stretch doesn't always feel great. Nice. And then you can bring your feet to one side, come onto your stomach, not your stomach, your seat here, your cross-legged seat, and drop the shoulders away from the ears. Okay, so we're gonna start with a little bit of neck mobility in this position. So hands are gonna come down, drop shoulders down, and we're gonna just start with some yeses and, wait, is this no or yes? Yeah, this is yes. I always forget. So we're starting with some yes. Oh gosh, I hope y'all can hear me today. The wind, it might be knocking things out. So we're gonna start with taking some yeses and nos. The hands are in fists so we can keep tension, pulling those shoulders down. And then we can take some nos. Sorry guys, my internet is not great here today. I need to find my hotspot, but that thing is notoriously missing once again. So we're just taking some nos, looking over to one shoulder, looking over to the other shoulder. Awesome. Okay, take a couple of those. I say 10 in each direction. And then I want you to inhale, send the arms overhead, and then exhale, left hand to plant, right arm to extend. Think about rolling that shoulder up and up. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I do not know what's... Okay. Hopefully it stays until the next 15 minutes. I just turned it off the Wi-Fi. So as I was saying, we're inhaling, sending our arms to the sky, and then the left arm is gonna plant as we lean over towards the right. Think about spiraling our chest open and finding our breath. Nice. You can stay here for another big breath in through the nose, out any way you would like. And then let's take some backward circles with the arm. So we're gonna keep them nice and wide. Let's do 5 big circles. And then after the 5th circle, you can extend the arm once more. Use the right hand to find the back of the neck here. And think about pulling that elbow up to the sky as you find this nice stretch. And your breath. All right, inhale to unravel, send yourself up, and then right arm is gonna plant as we're over at the other side now. Nice. All right, think about keeping that left sit bone down, extending through the left arm here, rolling that chest up and open to the sky, looking up only if it feels good in your body today. And as far as breathing goes, guys, I'd say you can breathe any way you like. Besides, I would love for you to have at least a couple breaths thinking about inhaling, filling your diaphragm, filling your stomach with air, and exhaling, contracting, emptying. It's a great way to start the day. Get a lot of oxygen into your body, but also just calms you down, right? Our breath is the one way that we can calm ourselves down. As breath is a part of our central nervous system, but we're also in control of it. So, yeah. All right, now let's take some big circles with the arm. Let's go for 5. Nice and wide here. Awesome. And then re-extend. See if you can touch that left hand behind the neck here and think about pulling that tricep up to the sky, finding that nice stretch. Oh, sorry guys, I got hair in my nose. Nice. Inhale to release, come back through center, and I'm gonna be moving over to my wall here. I didn't tell you you needed a wall, and really you don't. If you don't have one, you can still do this movement without it. But if you do have a wall that you can use, let's go ahead and move up to it. It's gonna help us work our upper body with a little bit of feedback, which I'm always a fan of. So go ahead and scooch yourself back to the wall, feet are gonna stay into that cross-legged seat, and then we're gonna bring both hands to the wall at 90 degrees behind us. Right away, notice your ribs, notice mine when I first got into it. They flare, they're out. So a lot of us have a curved spine naturally, either like this or a little bit of an anterior tilt going on. So when we bring the hands back, it compensates by pushing the ribs out. So we want to think about drawing the ribs down, drawing the low belly to pull towards the spine here, so we can flatten out and bring our low back to the wall. Ellie wants you to know that that is an important fact. All right, both hands are at 90 degrees here. You draw that back towards the wall. Hi, pretty girl. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now we're just gonna hold out here for a second. This already might be a nice stretch for your body. Think about tucking the chin to the chest, giving yourself a little double chin here so you can elongate through the back of your neck. And then we're just gonna take some internal and external rotations. Very good. Finding your breath here. Try not to move in a range that is super challenging for you today. We are not very warmed up. If you only did this video for your workout, then that's not quite enough to be able to force some things yet. I mean, maybe you are if you're more mobile than me. Just listen to your body, okay? And find your breath. All right, let's go for 3 more here. Maybe your shoulders are starting to feel it a little bit. Awesome. And then for 3, you can go ahead and release the hands. Okay, so I'm gonna head back to the mat here for a second. We're gonna do some cool down stretches. My butterfly clip just broke. This is like my 3rd one, like 3 days, and it just broke because it was next to the wall. Okay. So we're gonna be finding a nice hip flexor stretch. If you have to sit all day for work, I am so sorry. This will help if you can even remember to do this throughout the day. If you notice that any inner hip tightness, also even lower back tightness from sitting, this would be a great one to do. Okay, so we're gonna bring the right foot forward, come into a very tight low lunge. Feet are on train tracks here, they're not on a tight rope, which means they don't have to be directly in line. I want you to find that nice center of balance. You can have your hands on your knee for support here if you need. You're gonna start by tucking those hips to the front of the room. We don't wanna see this because we're not gonna really feel that length into that left hip flexor. Find your breath. So you can stay here, or you can wiggle that right arm in between. Send that left arm up high. Think about tall, tall, tall spine as we lean over towards the left and back. So we're adding in a little spine mobility with this as well. We're gonna go for 5, for 4. If I had a longer time here, I'd probably tell you to do 10. And then I want you to drop the things back down. Maybe you can step that leg back at it with a little hover here, and then we're gonna find the other side. So find that very strong lunge. You can walk that left knee out of here, tuck those hips forward, nice. And then that left hand's gonna come inside, right arm come up, think about tall spine, and then we're gonna lean over and back. This hand can work a little bit closer to the ground. We're gonna go for 5. Very good. And we're gonna end it on the ground here. So go ahead and lower to the ground. Take as much time as you need. Another good stretch for all of those people, including myself, who are gonna have to sit very much today for work, like I'm gonna have to do. So I want you to press into the forearms. Roll those shoulder blades up, down, and back. And think about pressing into the tops of the feet and the pelvis here. Finding a nice lift for the upper body. And again, with the shoulders, I like to think about setting them, doing a full shrug. So setting them up, down, and back helps a lot of people remember that they can control that. They do have control over their shoulders here. All right, so press that pelvis into the ground. That's gonna keep your glutes engaged. Press the forearms, press the tops of the feet. And more importantly, find your breath here. Each inhale expands the belly, expands the stretch as you push it into the ground. Every exhale, you can sink a little bit deeper. Very nice. Okay. Last one for today, because I really don't like to finish my classes without a twist ever. So hands are going to extend out at a T. I want you to pick up through right leg and then twist your body over towards the left side. Allow this right foot to plant. It's going to be more comfortable here. If you're super flexy, you can try to bring the other hand back around to grab the foot or to grab the opposite hand here. To be really gentle. This is, again, not quite enough for us to be doing so much pushing through our stretches. Drop that left ear down, find your breath. And then I'm gonna roll onto the other side, plant that right arm, lift up those left toes, and twist the opposite way. Maybe you get a nice little back pop out of this. See if I can work my hands a little bit closer. Left hand can be supporting you here. You can find the leg. You can do what it likes. It's very gentle. Awesome. And we're going to roll on forward. Okay, let's see how we're doing with time today. Let me know if you can hear me, if you are here. We're going to end today with a nice little yoga squat practice and maybe get some movement into our shoulders, because I think y'all are nice and warmed up. Okay, so hands are gonna come behind you here, face towards the body. Think about rounding those shoulders, so pick them up, back, and down, press into the palms, and then you can begin to lift the hips. Do a nice little sway here towards the feet. You can even come up a little higher. We're stretching out through the fronts of the shoulders. They get really tight also when we're at our desk all day. And then you can kind of practice walking your hands forward and coming into a nice little squat. Maybe you can get pretty close into it pretty quickly. Maybe you can come all the way into it, opening up the feet a little bit wider, like I have to do. Think about creating a nice and tall spine. Once again, hands can stay behind. I think that's where I'm gonna hang out today. Think about pushing your butt towards your heels here. It's gonna start to wake up through your ankles as well. We didn't really touch them today, so I'm gonna make sure we're doing a little bit more. Finding your breath, and then I'm gonna come onto the butt. All right, guys, thank you for joining me today. If you're seeing this later on IGTV, or you got to see me on this lovely fall morning. So this would just be a nice little mobility touch-up session. If you didn't have a check-in session, I should say, you didn't have time to get your normal workout in, and maybe you don't want to do any more than this because you're feeling a little bit fatigued, or maybe you need some mobility because you did a lot of activity today, this would be great to do. As always, you can listen to your body with the number of reps today. I'm not here to coach you on that. Most of the time I say 5 to 10. If some of these movements are newer, closer to 5. And you can repeat it for another set or for another hold for some of these stretchings if you'd like. We're just a little bit short on time today. All right, so that's all I have. Thank you for joining me. Thank you again for all your well wishes. For my back, I am obviously feeling a lot better today. I was feeling great yesterday too, so it's crazy how a little bit of movement and rest, your body can just heal very quickly. So that's pretty amazing to me every time it happens, to be honest. If you'd like to work with me, learn about more specific exercises that you need for your own specific body, movement, goals, fitness, wellness, all of the above, that's what I do. I would love for you to comment here or shoot me a DM, and we'll talk about your free first session with me. And yeah, all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Hello, Anna. Hopefully you can hear me. No one told me that they couldn't hear me, but we all know how that goes sometimes. And yeah, I help you develop a movement practice that fits your life, that could look pretty similar like this,